Hey guys, how are you guys? I'm Rufus. This is my brother Cephas. Keep watching. Subscribe to the channel, guys. All right, thanks.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
All right, so today's video, you've already seen the title. We'll be talking about the actual cost of building a two-bedroom in Liberia. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Cephas, like I said earlier. And on this channel, we talk about Liberia, construction, business, the beautiful country. We talk about the people, the food, all the opportunities in our beautiful, wonderful country, Liberia. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and also share this video. As always, we're currently working on a lot of construction for people in and around the country, right? That's one of our primary businesses that we do in Liberia. Hence, one of the most questions that I got, in fact, it's the most question, is always how much, right? How much would this cost? How much does this cost? Now, if you're somebody who are looking into building Liberia, that's something that's going to be the number one on your mind, right? I want to do this. How much would this cost me? If that's something that interested to you, stay tuned. But you already know what I'm about to say. Roll the intro.
Liberia to the world. We rise, we shine under that West African sun for all time. From the rainforest to the coast, a story told in light and gold. C4 standing bold, bringing those colors, showing the world Liberia's glory so bright.
And today we're focusing on the two-bedroom, two-bath. This is something that will be around 950 to 1,000 square foot, kitchen, dining floors into each other, beautiful, nice, modern style, high ceilings, and just contemporary look, plain lines, right? And the quote I'm going to mention at the end of today is going to be based off of just really modern, standard of building or construction. Not the typical construction they do in Liberia, almost like Western standard method of building this home. What people want to know, right? Should I even hire a company to get this done? How much is that going to cost me as compared to if I build this myself? We'll be talking about the true cost of building a two-bedroom house in Liberia in 2026. First thing will be blocks. You'll be looking at anywhere from, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of a range just because it depends on the contractor who's building. Some contractors may need a little bit more just in case if there's any kind of underside or oversight to be able to compensate for that. So I'll give you a little bit of a range so you have an idea, right? So the first thing basically we'll be looking at the supply of blocks for this property anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 will cost you right around up to $4,300. And also we'll be looking at supply for cement to lay the blocks, 150 bags up to between 120 to 150 bags. The cost right up to 1,200. Supply of steel rod for the work, looking anywhere from 40 to 45 pieces, cost around 4 or 5. Also quarter rods, we're looking right around 15 to 20, cost around up to $40. Nails, about 2, right around $50. Also supply of support concrete, plywood for the support concrete, between 10 to 15, right around $375. We're looking at supply of wire to support steel work, 1 roll, around $50. And also head pan, anywhere from 8 to 12, cost up to $60. Supply of shovel, you're definitely gonna need that, anywhere from 4 to 6, cost up to $30. And then wheelbarrow, anywhere from 2 to 4, most likely 4, costs right around $200. And the supply of cement, supply of sand for the cement work, you're looking at the cubic yard, about anywhere from 55 to 60 cubic yard, costs around $450. And then crushed stone, which is crushed rock, you'll be looking at anywhere from 17 to 21 cubic yard, around $450. And also you're looking at the supply on site for hardwood or scaffold, looking at up to anywhere from 15 to 20 up to $100. So basically your preliminary work will be cost anywhere from $6,500 to $7,500. Again, this will be different, varies based on the foundation, your soil type, the distance, and the crew you're using, right? That gives you an example. From here on, I'm just going to mention things in lump sum, because again, if you want a full detailed estimate, like a breakdown of your specific home that you want, just reach out to the team, reach out to the email and phone number, and we'll get you an actual estimate for your particular property based on which will be calculated by our quantity surveyor. Right now, let's jump into the rest of the homes, and these are going to be lump sum. So you'll be looking at total for the roofing, total for roofing upper deck. For this property though, we're going to have a beautiful home with a nice upper deck that you can just go and sit on top of, which is pretty popular. Most people who want to build higher home want to have the opportunity to sit on top and, you know, kind of view the area as well. So that'll cost right around $4,000 up to $4,600. Total electrical work, lump sum. These electrical panels though are not your typical. We're looking at high grade electrical work and a lot of outlets. One of the things in Liberia, when people are doing buildings, they have only one plug in each places, right? We're talking about having electrical outlets and lights in places like the bathroom, places like this side of the home where the kitchen porch is going to be, something you don't see in Liberia. Even the front porch, to have at least 2 outlets at the front porch, something you don't see in Liberia, and have 2 outlets on each wall in the living room, for instance, and also in the bedroom, having outlets on each side of the bed and where the TV mount is going to be, and multiple lights, can lights in the home. So this is going to be pretty extensive electrical work for your home, and that could basically now cost up to $2,000 for electrical work. Hey, like I mentioned, you can get these for a lot less. Most of you may be like, oh no, I didn't spend that much. I spent $1,000 or I spent $700 or whatever it is. But then again, you're paying for what you're getting. Now you're having people using subpar materials. You're having, you know, electrical issues, and a lot of these electrical wires that may get hot and burn in the wall and things like that. So keep in mind, the prices I'm calling are really high standard prices for things that we particularly take interest in when we're doing this construction for a client, because we don't want to use anything that's going to be below standard, and at the end of the day you have an issue with your property or you're calling somebody else to redo things, right? And then a lump sum for your total for your windows, bathroom installation. So your windows, bathroom, your bathtub, your sink, your backsplash and things like that. That's basically will be up to $3,300, right? And then from there, we're talking about the doors, total doors installation, all the doors, your window bars and things like that. Installation, really hard end doors, right? These are big wooden doors. Some of them will have a fingerprint reader or electric opening, a wireless opening, things like that. For all the doors all around the house, you're looking right close to around $2,000. Again, now we're talking about a pop ceiling or POP ceiling for all in the home. This is a lump sum, all over the home, POP high-end ceiling with gypsum board, all through the home and kitchen and everything like that. You'll be looking at a total of up to $4,000. And all of these are including materials and workmanship and everything up to par. Again, this is top end, right? You can get it lower, or sometimes you can even get it more higher than this, but it's going to give you a range. And secondly, you're looking at plastering and puttying of the wall, right around $3,000. Will be the wall skimming and plastering the wall with a really thick, when you do your gauge, right? Having a thick layer of plaster in the wall, basically, and do your wall skimming, which is also called a puttying. Now, these are very important steps, right? That's why sometimes you see the cost of plastering your home will be a smaller amount than what I'm mentioning. That's because most of the time, the depth of your plaster on the wall is not enough, not thick enough. Secondly, they're not skimming your wall. They're not doing any puttying on your wall. Basically, then you have that rough looking wall that you see in a typical Liberian home, and also you start to see cracks and things like that on your wall. So that's why basically it'll be up to $3,000 to have a really nice plastering in and out of the home, and also do your wall skimming on the wall as well. All right, so now we're talking about all the tiling in the home, the front porch, inside, in the bathroom, kitchen, everything like that will be up to $4,500. Now again, this is for those big huge tiles, and also this includes the ordering of the tile, transporting the tile, and labor as well, right? So again, these are prices that somebody may charge you a little bit cheaper to do it. You may be able to get a little bit cheaper somewhere else, but that gives you an amount up to $4,500, basically to do all the tiles in the house, outside of the house. And we're talking about nice premium tiles. not the flimsy tiles you see, basically the smaller ones, the ones that have the lousy colors, and talking about really premium looking tiles, the big slabs, and done by a really good professional on our team that will get that done, right? So up to 4,500 for the entire house, inside bathroom and everything like that, kitchen everywhere, and back porch as well. You bring in your total labor cost. Basically, that'll be for your block work, cement work, bricklayer, carpenter, laying the blocks, the masonaries, the general labor on calls, the lead engineer, and everybody. That brings your total labor on this project for right around $5,000, right? And transportation for around $3,000. Now, I'm going to go into building this home yourself, focusing on those in the diaspora. Let me tell you how much it's actually going to cost you when you're building this home yourself. You watching this video yourself. Let's say you want to build in Liberia. This is your first time. You want to build something, and you're looking to transition to Liberia. You want to build a nice little 2-bedroom home in Liberia. Now you're like, okay, well, actually it's going to cost around $38,000. I'm talking about a modern, high ceiling, beautifully done, high standard, high quality materials being used, damp proofing your foundation, waterproofing every level, doing a German floor on your foundation, doing your foundation reinforcement with your tie beam, with your foundation skirting, and also your foundation chaining. All of these things done. Really floor to ceiling windows, nice design accents, hidden roof, and a rooftop. That's what you're going to get for the $38,000. You're like, well, why should I go with a construction company then? Well, it's going to cost me more. Now, here's why. First thing is that additional cost is for the construction company taking on a project and completing the entire project, where you're never getting a phone call for anything. You're not getting a phone call saying, oh, boss man, oh, boss lady, we need this or we need that, or this one broke, or the cement finish, or the sand finish, and you just keep getting these calls. You have no idea. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's number one. Number two, the additional cost going with a construction company, that includes your full staff. You have people who are communicating with you. You have constant updates. You have a spending report that you can take a look at, right? You also have somebody doing inventory check. You also have somebody doing security work on your site. All of that stuff comes with that as well. Going with a construction company, that amount I mentioned, you also get your full working plan, right? You also get your design. You also get your land analysis, doing your water table, doing your site assessment, all of that. Lastly, also comes with an insurance. That amount also put insurance on your property for the entire duration of your construction. So if anything happens, basically up until you move in and if you lived in there for some period of time, you're insured. Anything break, things happen, you're covered. Or when we are doing the construction, maybe something happened, we abandoned the site, or whatever it is happening, you have insurance, performance bond insurance. So that is what all of that cover when you go with a construction company, for instance, when you go with us, right? And maybe you're like, yeah, I've heard what you said, but nah, I would just build it myself. I don't want to pay that extra money to hire a construction company. I would just go to Liberia. Everybody tell you, go to Liberia and build yourself. If you want to build, you have to be on ground. Now, let me show you how much it's actually going to cost you if you're actually building yourself in Liberia. And this amount is completely going to shock you, because this is something that people don't even think about. They don't consider at all when they are building in Liberia. The only focus on the total amount is going to cost to erect the house and nothing else. But it actually costs a lot more. There are a lot more things involved in building in Liberia that no one really think about, but it's also part of that cost. And you have to factor within that cost. You cannot take your total cost of building in Liberia without factoring these things. And this is what I'm going to mention right away. The first thing is, let's take, for example, your ticket. And if you're building this 2-bedroom in Liberia, most people will go there for a month. You most likely have to make 2 trips and stay for a month or so to fully supervise your construction to make sure it's done the right way. So first thing is the ticket. $2,200 will be your average round trip ticket. Next thing, car. If you own a car in Liberia, that's great. Most folks wouldn't own a car, and let's take the cheapest. Let's say you get a nice car that somebody's able to rent for you for $40 a day. You're most likely going to spend 30 days in Liberia to build most of your home, maybe all the way to foundation, maybe all the way to roof level before you head back. So that 30 days is going to cost you right around $1,200, $40 per day. You have to add that into the construction. The second thing again is food for your house. Let's say you're not renting, right? Let's move rent, because if you are rent in this or stay in the guest house, which most of you do when you go there to build your home, most people do that, but I'm not going to add that. I'm just going to take that cost off of this. Let's say if you're going to spend 30 days, you're most likely going to stay with a family or maybe in another property that you own and things like that. So I'll remove that. However, if you do stay in the home, you most likely have family around you, 1 or 2 people around you, and you need food for the house, right? That'll on the low end will cost right around $240 for that 30 days. Spending, let's say right around $40, $60 a week or so on food, right? Getting food for the house, water, drinks, and all of that stuff for the house on the low end. $240 added into that construction. That's going to be also part of the cost of you building a house. The next one is going to be $1,000. You have to. We all know when we head to go to Liberia, there's a lot of expenses. Families are coming, all kind of things happen, right? Helping the family, or maybe you got to go out. You got to, go to Calabash, take a couple people here and there, do things, buy this, leisure, sitting at the beach on a weekend when you're free, taking a couple friends here and there and things like that. For that 30 days, if you go to Liberia, you already know you have to spend that amount. You're looking right around $1,000, and that has to be added within the construction cost. The second thing again is gas, right around $50 a week. If you're moving around, we all know Monrovia, Liberia is not a big country. However, the stop and go traffic burn a lot more gas. And on the low end, on average, most people will be renting an SUV. You'll be looking at about $50 a week. That's on the low end for gas. That's $200 for that 1 month you're going to be there at 30 days. That's going to be added in the construction cost. All right, so let's take the opportunity cost. Now, for most people who are going to build in Liberia, you're working. And we already know in America, is, for example, you get 2 weeks off of work. So if you're spending 30 days in Liberia, you're most likely going to take the other 2 weeks on pay. So that's part of the cost of building in Liberia. That's called the opportunity cost. So whatever money it is that you're leaving on the table in order to be in Liberia to build your home, right? So on average, let's take, for example, the average person making $25 an hour. You already got your 2 weeks paid, most likely, if you do have that. Some people don't even have that, but if you do have that, so that's taken care of. The other 2 weeks, though, you have to take it on pay. So basically, that will be about $2,000 after taxes and everything. Will be $1,600. You have to take that amount that you're losing from your job and add it to your construction cost of this 2-bedroom in Liberia. I'm not going to put an amount on this because I don't know. Not everybody has side hustle, but most people do have side hustle in America. Uber, Lyft, and things like that. Those are all part of the opportunity cost, right? These are not things you can leave out of your construction because this is actual real money that's being compensated, right? That's being traded off for you being in Liberia to build a house. I'm not going to put an amount on this, but money from you actually like builders, either from waste or overbuying materials and things like that. Now, I will say, people always will say, okay, go to Liberia and build your own home. But if you're not a contractor or a builder or a construction engineer or just somebody who's built so many homes before, especially if it's your first time, you're going to notice quickly how much waste is being done. So again, typically about 5 to 7% is going to be spent on just waste, right? These guys always will buy more material than they need. Maybe, again, people doing backhand deals. You guys don't know this. I've said this before on this channel. Even with you being in Liberia, these contractors can also have a special dealing with the different vendors, and they will tell you, yeah, you can go to this place to buy it, and these guys have a different price. So when you go and pay for this material, when you leave, the contractors come on the back end and split that difference from that inflated price. I'm going to put about $500 because there's definitely going to be some waste during this construction when you being in Liberia. You're not being a builder, or even if your uncle, dad, or whoever it is there, there's still going to be waste because they're not expert in the field, so they don't know exactly what should be done. There are going to be waste. So normally for this kind of project, about $500 is going to go towards just mismanagement waste, things falling apart, breaking, and things like that, because you don't know, or people buying more than is actually needed, or other strategies that will save you money because you're not aware of that. Basically, that's going to be an additional cost to that. And then $500 miscellaneous. By you being in Liberia, there are going to be things that are unplanned. 100% of the time is going to happen. You're going to have some expenses that you didn't think about, that you never planned for, and things like that, right? So $500 go towards on like unforeseen expenses, miscellaneous and things like that. So basically now take that 36, or let's say 36, let's put on the low end, building yourself 36,000 as compared to maybe 40 to 42,000 with a company. Let's say you do 36,000. Take that amount right now. Everything else that I mentioned came to right about $7,200, right? Now you're going to do this twice. If you come back again, it's going to be just about the same thing. So before you finish building your 2-bedroom home, you're going to come to Liberia at least 2 times, because you're working. You're not going to come and spend 2-3 months. Some people may be able to do that, not a lot of people. So even if you spend 3 months in Liberia, you have to take all of these things I mentioned and extend that amount. So it's still going to be the same thing if you do it all in once, or even if you come back twice, 2 times. The only saving is going to be the airline ticket, but most likely everything else that I mentioned will just be extended if you stay more than 30 days or 1 month, right? So basically that additional cost would be around 7,200, and then you take that and multiply by 2 if you're going to come at least twice to fully complete it and build your home, which would be right around $14,000. So basically you take your 36 or 38,000, you add the $14,000, you're looking at right around $50,000 to $52,000 to build this same home that you're going to spend anywhere from $40,000 to $42,000 with a construction company that's going to give you, that you're not going to have to run after anything. I'm not even going to mention the headache that comes to building in Liberia, chasing contractors. They're not showing up, running behind them. This person didn't complete this work. It was not done properly, redone. All of the headaches that comes with that, and just a lot. Even we that own construction company, we that have been in the company in this business for a while, we face immense challenges with crew management, people showing up, the work being done properly, and things like that. We still go through all of that. So basically, going with a construction company is almost always going to be your best bet. Not always, because sometimes some of you guys are also really expert in this field, and you have the time, and maybe you have a business that even if you're in Liberia, you're not missing time. Some of you can take your work there and still be working and things like that. You already have cars, you already have your home, you have everything being taken care of for you. Then yes, sometimes just building yourself, and you really know the crafts and the whole method and skill of building, then yes, again, you can build yourself. Even though I own a construction company, I wouldn't just say everybody should come and do construction company, but the vast majority of people in the diaspora who are building in Liberia, you're going to need to go with a construction company for all of these things I mentioned earlier. And that's because it's going to cost you even more if you do it by yourself as compared to go with a construction company where it's just hands off. You sign a contract, for instance, with us, everything turned over to you. If anything happened on the way, we're going to eat that cost. If something breaks, something wasn't done the right way, whatever it is, because we have that contract, we're going to be responsible for that and not you, as compared to you building yourself. If something happened, these contractors, you're not going to do anything. You might take somebody and carry them to jail or whatever it is, but that's going to be the end of it. Most of the time, these guys, you can't find them, they don't show up, and you have to eat that cost. What are some of the things you've experienced while building in Liberia? All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. That's the cost. Let me know. Reach out to me if you want us to kind of look at your plan or do a drawing for you or do a site assessment for you. We'll do your water table. We can do your house plan from start to finish, or also we can just offer you some estimates, basically, if that's something you're looking for. All right, so there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you're not new here, but you haven't subscribed, please just go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.